It's the Friday show. Ooh, Graphfit friends.
Right then, tools up. First of all, me and Liam can. You can overlay audio, can't you? Yeah, there we go.
I'll do my own audio.
First week.
Cheers.
Ooh, it's not what I remember it to be.
He's going for an ASMR video.
That's it.
Right, so the only thing you need to make sure you don't do is when you're talking, none of this.
And don't swear.
You can
Swear.
swear and do whatever you want.
Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah,
We're not
don't do
sponsored
it.
yet.
Sam was that or
Yeah.
that.
No.
He's like, you know when you. Sorry. Right, ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Who am I looking at? Just us. Because you
so-
all seem to be
yeah,
in
no,
that
yeah,
camera,
we're just
apart
talking-
from me.
we're talking
We're
to
talking
us.
just
Yeah,
now.
basically that camera is basically on YouTube. This is on us, and then we've got a middle. If you ever do want to speak into the camera, for whatever
Look at
reason,
my camera.
then look into that camera. Well, you can look into any of them, to be honest.
Our camera.
Just don't do what Liam does. And when he knows he's making a really good point, he goes.
And you got no fucking clients.
You got no fucking clients. Right, let's go. So, welcome back to episode 3 of the Friday show. As you know by now, hopefully, it's basically you don't really lose me and Liam. Me and Liam are here every episode, every month. But we do replace the other 2 seats with 2 other team members. No guests, just complete team. And we're lucky, first of all, this month because we've got Fiona. Welcome, Fiona.
And more surprisingly,
I know, yeah.
we got
More
Jay.
surprisingly, Jay's in the office on a Friday.
Yeah, not happy about that.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Wait till we get that invoice.
Double bubble on a Friday, I heard.
But it's going to be a cool one. Today, we're going to talk about lead generation. So we've already talked a little bit about tech on the first episode. Second episode was more about branding and marketing, identity and things like that. And I thought lead generation would be a good one for this episode. So that's why we've got Fee as well, because for those of you who don't know, Fee is actually, well, technically Chantel is remote as well, but basically our only remote team member. She's a Southerner. So she is basically with us. She's full-time with us, obviously, but she basically comes up north, as she says, for about a week every 2 months, which is great. And it's lucky that we fell on this week. I'll say lucky.
Yeah, lucky.
Yeah,
It was
we'll see.
organised.
Well, so let me just clarify, actually. She's not actually here for the chosen week. She's actually here just because we're going on a piss-up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we should probably actually have done this after the piss-up because we would have had some funny stories.
Or during.
I would
Or
imagine.
during the piss up.
Or during. Oh, that'd be a good one. We should do that one time. But anyway, yeah. So we're going to talk about lead generation. And we obviously have Jay and Fee, as I've mentioned. And to start with, they're going to introduce each other. Hopefully, it's going to be better than Jay and Joe's last time because that was terrible. So
Ladies
who are we
first.
starting with? Oh no, it's not. It's Jay
Oh,
first.
right,
We have to
okay.
follow the
Ladies
agenda.
first.
Okay.
Sorry, it's on the iPad.
Okay, so we have Fee, who is our first female into the business. What?
Michael.
All right.
Sorry.
So we've got Fee, who is our first female into the business. I was very happy when Fee came on board because she brought the average age up a little bit and made me not the oldest in the group anymore. So yeah, we have Fiona, who is in charge of all the boring stuff.
Is that because you don't know what she does? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I just see cards that say Fiona, and I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. That pass it on. So yeah.
Jason Lampy Parker left the car.
That'll be space button's not working. Just to
So, yeah,
clarify,
go on.
I'll fill in for Jay because he does know, but basically Fiona manages all of our paid media clients under the Amplified Media Service, for anyone that is aware of what that is. It's quite a niche, secretive service. It's not very public. It's,
Boutique.
yeah, it's very boutique. It's very application only. So it's a bit of a dark art, isn't it, really? But basically, Fee does all the digital marketing. She does obviously heads up our marketing for Graphfit, and then obviously for all our clients as well. So it's a pretty busy job. So just to give credit for what she actually does.
Yeah, she's actually really busy. She's
Yeah.
actually really,
Oh,
really
she's
busy.
busy all the time.
Really,
She's
really
busy all the
busy.
time. You're up.
Okay,
Look at it. You're even
This
winding
is-
it up.
this is Jay. Jay is a fellow country music lover,
Yeah.
CrossFit wanker, has a passion for Shania Twain.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't call it
yes.
a passion.
What word for it?
And That's about it. And and you head up and do most of everything with Sam, obviously, of the Asset Academy. So you, in my eyes, you are Asset Academy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
With to not do him any disjustice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that an ooh?
It's just a lot of responsibility heading up the Asset Academy, I think.
But he does that.
Yeah, he does do it. Yeah, he does do it.
It's factually
Not to muddy the
correct.
water, you are correct, yeah. So there's the intros. Obviously, I kind of ruined it by saying the names to begin with anyway. But to be honest, if you follow us on social media, these are probably two that you would see, probably the least. You'd probably see Fee more than Jay. But you probably see these the least, so that's why I'm excited about it as well. And it's a really, obviously, lead generation's a hot topic. So I think it'd be cool just to debunk some stuff. There's a lot of grey areas and things in lead generation that have evolved very, very quickly.
You're going to introduce Hugo as well while he's here.
Hugo's introducing his ball.
Yeah, this is Hugo,
You can have
part of the security team who's just running on.
Flipped at the camera. Now he's going to bark because the ball's over there.
What?
Put him on the table.
Put him on that chair there next to us.
So yeah, there's a lot of it's evolved very quickly, lead generation in this industry as a whole, but in this industry in particular, it's evolved. And I guess your job, or both your jobs, is to keep up with different ends of that. So how we're going to split this down today is basically Jay's role lends itself a lot to content. Obviously Jay's our head of content at Graphfit, so that means that day to day his job is basically to manage and create new content that then tends to become things like lead magnets, and PDFs, and basically anything with value that are gonna you're gonna trade off for an email address or a phone number in the end. So that's one side of it. So that's obviously the start of the process when you look at lead generation. And then obviously because of Fee's job, she's obviously, I guess, the strategy behind that. So like I said, that's evolved a lot, and it's become a lot more difficult to get leads. Or not necessarily to get leads, but to get quality leads. I think that's the biggest thing that we're focused on now. It's with the tools that we've got access to through MetaSuite and everything else, and things like ManyChat and all these tools that have come out to help make things easier. It's no longer difficult to get leads, but a lead doesn't necessarily mean that there's somebody that you want to work with or that's going to spend any money, which 100%. I think is the biggest battle, isn't it? And that's where you tend to get results or not.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to break down. So first of all, just before we go into that, just to keep people hanging a little bit, I want to go through some recent highlights. The idea of this episode is for it to be not like our Graphfit podcast. If you've not seen the Graphfit podcast, go and watch that on YouTube as well. But we want it just to be team. We want it to be based on highlights. We want to talk about what's going on in the now with us. That's the point of not having any guests. So who's got a highlight from we'll call it the last 30 days. Or even something that's coming up.
Last 30 days.
I
But
got
obviously
one
when
that
this
got-
goes out, it'll be a bit out.
It'll be a month ahead,
It'll be a
like
month.
1 or 2
So-
episodes ahead.
Fee is completely lost there now, isn't she?
Yeah, I got one that I can't talk about.
Why? Yeah, you can't talk about that. We'll leave that one.
Something upcoming. It could be anything.
Highlight.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow's piss up.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
yeah.
for those that don't know, like Callum said, it's very rare you see me on the socials and stuff, and it's very rare you see me on piss ups as well.
Yeah.
I tend to just keep myself to myself. So the lads have got and Fee obviously have got the pleasure of me actually going out tomorrow. So
But we will report back, because just because you're going on the piss up doesn't mean you're getting pissed up.
well, I'm not stipulating how long I'm staying either. I'll be showing my face.
He's going.
You look it, yeah. Thank
He's
you.
going.
I'm going.
Are you drinking though? Or are you driving?
I'm drinking.
Both.
Yeah. This is one of the first drinks I've had this year.
Out the piss 2 weeks ago.
We went.
I said one of the first. That was the
Right,
first.
so it's
this
like
is
your
my
50.
This is my
That doesn't
second.
really count.
All right.
But just, hang on a minute. I'm going to fucking call you all out, right? So this piss up, by the way,
Jesus
tomorrow,
Christ.
even though obviously everything's about me because it's Graphfit, there's the piss up tomorrow. There was supposed to be a night out, but because Jay wants to be on by 6.
Whoa.
and
Pump the
back
brakes.
in
I
bed.
have not. No, I was just going along with any plan.
Yeah.
This is all
No,
Liam who's-
I've grabbed it by the bollocks because otherwise it won't get done. So
Correct.
I've
Yeah.
booked
Liam-
everything and gone,
So
this is what we're doing.
Take it back.
the night out has now become, it's starting at 2 o'clock when I can't be there, and I can't get there till 5:30 roughly. So basically all the fun in the darts and Roxy's or whatever you've booked, and the brunch at
Brewdog.
is all in that period that I'm not there. So basically, I'm going to turn up. You're not going to be there.
I can't
You're
believe
going to
I-
be smashed.
I can't
You're
believe
going to
I've
be one
had
eye
the,
open.
I can't believe I had the blame.
Sam's going to be
Chris.
Sam's going to be kicking off.
Absolutely nothing to do with me, and I've just got all the brunt of that.
Nah, I'm going to be sober. No, you're just in front of me, and it's to everybody.
Well, you know.
We'll move on from there anyway. A highlight
but,
for me.
but he's not bitter.
Or yeah, a highlight for me is one of them is obviously Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think we were allowed to say that.
You can share.
If he
it
doesn't,
you
if he doesn't turn up on Monday, we can
Well,
edit
yeah.
that bit out.
Yeah, so obviously, right. Yeah, but this is a month. He might be a dickhead. We don't know yet.
want. Well,
But at the time
This
of
is going to
hi-
be aired in a month's time. We don't know.
At
He
the
might
time
be a
of
dick.
hiring,
Yeah, at the time of hiring,
What
it
are we-
seems
it's
okay.
the 31st of the 5th, 2024. It is 15:34, and we like Ryan.
he's nice. Isn't
So
he?
far, he's a sound guy. Yeah.
So basically, we've been on the lookout. Well, we're actually hiring for 2 roles at the minute. One being a creative lead, and one being a full-time video editor. And we've been on the lookout for a while, on the bit of a running in circles for the most part of it. But basically, we come across Ryan, who applied, and he is starting on Monday, and I'm really excited about that because I'm mainly excited because of when we met him and to see.
The process has been cool, hasn't it?
Yeah, and he's a good lad, and obviously, well, he's young, so not obviously he's young. He's 19, very mature for his age, and he is very similar to Sam in some ways.
God.
What we'll do now
Great.
for Jack, if Jack's editing
I
it,
thought she was going to be sick.
Was that because of that bit, or was that?
right. Can you direct your burps out?
She did. I thought she was going to be sick over her shoulder.
Oh, was it one of the side waffles?
Someone mentioned Sam and Peter.
Fish went. Literally.
Sorry, Sam.
Right, so what we'll do is, in the edit, we'll put a picture up side by side. We'll put a picture of Sam up, and we'll put a picture of Ryan up.
Yeah.
And we'll compare mullets as well to see how Sam's is going. But anyway, Ryan's starting, and it's going to be really exciting. We really need someone to nail down that role, which I think Ryan's going to be that person to do it. And yeah, I think it's going to be cool. Isn't it?
Yeah, he was good. In the process, you wouldn't have probably guessed he was 19, to be honest. What we usually do is in the process, we give, whatever the role is, we give them some work to do to obviously prove the credentials a little bit, and he beat you to it, didn't he? Pretty much. We usually send a brief to him, and he was like, oh, in the meantime, I've pulled your podcast off YouTube, downloaded it, cut it, and here's a promo, basically.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Over the weekend.
19, just of his own accord.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
there was every chance he was going to come in, and we'd be like, nah, he's just like really like keen because he's young. But he seemed to tick the boxes, didn't he?
Yeah, he was good.
Well, we'll soon find out, won't we?
Yeah.
You get you become a rabbit in the headlights very quickly.
This
at
all
Graphfit,
might
so.
be edited out by the time it goes live.
Yeah.
It might be sad.
We'll keep it in. We'll keep it in. But yeah, that's something that
Disclaimer at the end. Ryan was sat since the morning.
that's something that I'm excited about. Anything else?
Well, I suppose Chantel didn't come on this month, did she? But it was like the first full month of
Yeah.
having an extra team member in
Yeah.
that side of
We'll
stuff.
let you off because you've not had a chance to say what your wins have been because you've not been on the episode yet. So you can just pick a win from whenever.
From the past year. All
Yeah,
my
go on.
wins.
Go on then.
Well, no, I just think that's a good one. I think having Chantel as an extra person on, delivering the ads for our clients has just been really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it feels like there's sometimes in business owners will understand this who's listening, and we'll know anyway because we're all quite close to the pulse, really, aren't we? With Graphfit anyway. But for business owners that are listening or watching, you'll know that you have some days, some weeks, and you're like this all the time. And some days you feel like you're putting the final piece into the puzzle, and sometimes you feel like you just fucking drop the puzzle and you have to start again. And one of this week is probably one of the weeks where you feel like you're putting the last piece in. And next week it might be a shit show, but I'm not gonna be here anyway. I'm on holiday. He'll forget. So. But
Puzzle will be great next week.
and he'll and that's just business. Sometimes you feel like it's all going really well. Sometimes things break and you've got to start again, and that's just the nature that you sign up for. So, but just to sort of the reason why I said that is because I think the addition of Ryan and the addition of Chantel feels like they contributed to
You're not allowed it.
You have to make it so obvious.
Either that or it'll be right in there, isn't it?
It's alright.
Yeah, but I can't burp in there.
Why?
You can, it'll be funny.
No.
Just clean it afterwards.
Sam's done worse than that, trust me. That one as well.
It was that.
Stand at your hands in.
Got another one.
So first of all, we'll actually dig into the lead generation stuff that we started for now. I want to keep an eye on time. What time did we start, Ben?
About 20 24 minutes past.
Feels
Right,
like
okay.
10 years.
That was when we sat down
15
talking.
minutes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so we want to speed things up then. So first of all, it sounds really basic, but I just want to touch on a few areas of basically, in short terms, the importance of lead generation. I'll start off because I've got quite a strong opinion on this, purely from experience, right? So to give context, Graphfit, even still to this point now, we don't do loads and loads of lead generation. It's very natural. There's not much forced funnels going on or anything like that. And we've never really done it. And then obviously in the industry, lead generation was picked up probably properly 2 years ago, like properly. Yeah. It went from no one really doing it and just sort of like speaking to people in conversations and sort of organic marketing and stuff to obviously paid come into it, which has put a big push on spending money, which means when you spend money, you need to get a return, and lead generation's got harder, and all of a sudden you're in this whole science of lead generation and what works and what doesn't. But in basic terms, if in the fitness industry, the reason why lead generation is so important is because no matter what your niche is, no matter what your audience is, everyone is now becoming wise to a coach, a PT, a gym, and to pay respects to the fitness industry and coaches and PTs and gym owners, your tactics that you're running now, the tactics that we're running for people and other people, are very advanced. So if you used to compare some strategies and tactics that you as a coach that might be watching are running now, and you used to compare that to another industry like a trade maybe, or maybe the beauty industry, or even some tech industries, you're so far ahead of what everybody else is doing because that's what the audience demands. The audience is very wise to it, which means they know what you're doing, which means you've got to be clever. And that's made it a lot harder. It's made it a lot more expensive. And so because of that, the consolidation of all that means that you're battling in a much muddier waters, basically. It's getting harder to get people. Everyone's using really good tactics. Everyone's thinking outside the box, which is great, but it's becoming harder. So the importance of lead generation is for the future of your business. It's to future-proof your business. You can't rely on organic forever. You've definitely got to get organic right. I'm sure you'll touch on this in a bit. You've got to get organic content right. So by organic, if anyone isn't too sure, basically post on social media, anything that's natural, nothing has money behind it. It is just you posting things for free, sending emails for free, all that stuff. You have to master that first, and then you essentially put fuel on the fire by putting money behind it. The reason why we call it amplified media. But paid media is becoming more essential. And one way or another, you're going to have to do it. And when you're doing it, like I said before, all of a sudden you're spending money, and it's then black and white. You're either making money or you're not. And you've got to make money as quick as possible. So that's the reason why I want to talk about it. But it's obviously evolved a lot, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Like you could even talk in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever you want. Things are changing every single week, and all of a sudden things are not working that was working.
Yeah, I had a meeting with one of our clients this week, and she said, what are other people doing at the minute, just to sort of get ideas and sort of brainstorming kind of thing. And it used to be probably, I don't know, like not even 12 months ago, we could kind of reel off like, have you done this? Have you tried this? And there's that. And you kind of have a clear idea of what is working at the minute. But I kind of sat there and I was like, whoa. It's now getting so specific and unique to the individual coach, the business, the audience, everything, which I think is really good from a business owner's point of view, because it means that you've got a lot of scope to kind of, be niche and go for your ideal lead generation strategy. There is something for everyone. You don't have to do the same as everyone else, but that's also not to say that a PDF lead magnet, that kind of stuff, it works. It's just about what's on it, the content. As long as it's shaped well enough, it can still work. So yeah, I just feel now it just changes constantly. And I never feel like I have a set response to that kind of question to say, yeah, do this, you got to do that. It's working for this person. I could say that and it absolutely flops for that one just because of the industry they're in or whatever. Yeah. So
I think that's the most difficult part about paid media from our experience, because like I said before, the results in paid media are black and white. You either get a return or you're not getting a return. There isn't really an in-between. But the actual process and all the hard work that you've got to do to get the black or white result is not black and white. it's pretty much grey, very, very dark grey. So you can't, you almost feel stupid being an expert in this field and not being able to say, well, you need to do this. Because you obviously have an idea.
Well, there's a wider strategy
But-
that you know you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't, you can't say that's going to work for sure because it's so specific to you, your business, your audience. Even like the way people look is important. Now, like we won't mention names, but we've got 2 clients who essentially are going for the same niche, really. And we'll call it menopause, the menopausal sector.
We'll call it menopause. It is menopause.
We call it, what should we call it?
Well, see, the reason why I say that actually is because menopause, just as a side note, the menopausal sector, as obviously it's always been there, but it's never really been like a.
This new thing called menopause.
This is great.
It's never been a pinpoint niche. Like when you talk about a coach having a niche or a gym having a niche and the audience you want to work with, menopause has never really been the predominant factor that makes that person your niche. But now it is. It's becoming like that way, isn't it?
People are talking more about topics like that
Yeah.
where they never used to.
And so now it's becoming a factor that can make you money. And the reason why I say that is because we have 2 clients that are going for the same people. And like you just said, the same strategy, you are almost guaranteed for the same strategy not to work for the other. And it's pretty much down to the 2 individual coaches are the completely different age. They look completely different. They're actually from the same country. They have pretty much the same accent. But they're so different in the way they act.
I was thinking about totally different people.
Yeah, I've not got a clue
You're
what he's
on
talking
about
about.
the two- I thought you were edit this bit out. I thought you were talking about and like.
No. So they're going for the same people, but the strategy, you'd almost guarantee the same strategy won't work, even though they're going for the same audience, purely based on the way they look, the way they sound, the way they speak, the message. And that's how much attention to detail you got to apply.
Yeah, and they actually, both strategies, now I'm on board with who you mean, they are completely different people in terms of, like you said, age-wise, but both strategies work for them because of just how they've gone about it. Because you know, speaking about that menopausal market, that's of around the 40 plus female. Within that, you've got so many different types of women within that. You've got high-powered, busy mums. You've got stay-at-home mums. You've got you mix of everything. You've got so many. And the reason why both of their strategies work is because they individually, they're going for a menopausal market, but they are going for very specific audiences within that. So their strategies nail it on the head.
What would you say is, from your experience then, what would you say, if you could say one thing, what has evolved the most when it comes to lead generation, whether it's organic or paid, both? What would you say has evolved the most, which has forced the most change in the way you go about getting leads in the fitness industry?
I just think the complexity of it has, but saying that with a caveat, as you can still do things relatively straightforward. Like I said, single page PDF type of lead magnet stuff can work, but I just think the biggest thing that's changed is that there's now so many different ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
So it's really, and like I said earlier, it's actually a good thing and a bad thing, because you don't necessarily can copy someone else and implement it for your stuff, but that also means that there's like shitloads of options in front of you so that you can choose from. The difficult bit is choosing the right thing for you and the right way to go down stuff. That's the hard part. That's what I think has changed.
From your side then, Jay, because obviously if anyone doesn't know, Jay is still a PT, so obviously he works at Graphfit, but he still trains clients. So I guess you've sort of got one foot in each camp. So you're seeing it from the point of actually trying to be the person attracting the clients with the content, and you're seeing it from our side that's providing the service. So in your experience, how have you found trying to attract leads? Forget like the actual thing that you're using to get leads, but how have you found it? How have you had to adapt to it?
I think like exactly what he said, like you have to think a lot more out of the box. Roll back 12 to 24 months ago, and most PTs and coaches didn't have any sort of lead gen. So your PDFs, link in bio thing worked, whereas now everybody has a link in bio with a PDF. So you're now having to upgrade your quality of lead gen to then attract different people. So I say, because everybody's doing it, you have to stand out that next level above. So like going on top of what Fee said, I think like the quality of lead gen. So giving people workouts, giving people like slide decks, presentations, things like that. I'm mixing it up and being completely different. Realistically nowadays, like, what are people doing with these PDFs that they're getting?
Yeah.
Collecting them.
They're
I
just
think
collecting them.
that's
They
a big
probably don't
part
even
of it.
they're probably not even opening them.
Yeah.
So like you have to think outside the box and get it like make your whatever they're trying to attain something that they actually want to use and actually going to get value from.
I think there's so many sort of caveats in that because, and I wanted to go into this to talk about strategy as well, because one thing you just mentioned there is people not opening it. And I think that's where the strategy comes in, because not only have people become wise to it, we're also demanding more out of it. So going back to the time you said like sort of like 12 months, 24 months, that time that you're talking about, essentially how lead generation looked then was,
it's completely different.
let's use a small town, for example. Like we're based off in Widnes, there's about 60,000 people in Widnes, right? So you were probably one.
I'm not from Widnes.
Yeah, we can tell that. You can tell that
You'd be chased out.
You'd
You'd be chased out with a pitchfork, you.
So
From our end.
The way it looked back then was basically you were probably maybe the only one or one of a few that was giving away something for free.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, oh, he's giving it for, I don't have to pay for this. He's giving it away for free. And that was kind of enough for them to want to use it because it was free. And it was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. And then as we've progressed and it's got harder, because it's got harder and it's costing us more money and we've got to pay people to do things now in terms of build strategy and leads and ads and stuff. Now we want more out of it, which means giving someone something for free in credit conversation is no longer enough. No. We're now expecting to be able to sign up someone to like one-to-one high-ticket coaching off the back of it, which is worth, I don't know, best part of $3,000 a year or something. So then that becomes really important to actually for them to actually open it, because at the end of the day, you can give anybody anything for free, but if they don't get value out of it, there's absolutely no way that they're going to want to go to step 2, because step 1 is essentially getting something for free because maybe they don't see the value in it, maybe they don't have the money, maybe they're not ready, whatever the reason is. But the ultimate goal is to get them to step 2, which is for them to pay for a better version of what you give them for free. So if they've not got value from it, regardless of what you're doing, there's absolutely no chance that they're going to go to step 2. Like, zero chance.
Well, I think a lot of it as well is like, let's not beat around the bush. Everybody knows that if you sign up to a lead gen, you're going to get peppered by whoever you've got the lead gen off. So you need to be like ready to accept whatever it is, messages, emails, whatever. So you need to be like on the fence about getting something from this coach, this PT, this gym anyway. So that, because then this whatever you're getting as I'm waffling here, but whatever you're going to get for free needs to be that good that it's worth getting the peppering afterwards.
Because like you said, like you're giving them a diluted version of something for free.
Yeah.
Because the free thing is going to be that good, they're going to want to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's probably, I don't know, I would disagree on that it's years ago, I think it was. I think if you had a lead gen running, if you had the calorie calculator or a PDF or whatever you were giving away, that was enough that it was a trust builder to get them to a call, buying PT sessions, buying something a bit quicker. But I think now for me, it's just an inroad to go, I'm open for a conversation. So they've opted in, they've put their email in, the number, they've put their Instagram handle in, whatever. And that is essentially them going, like, I'm in. And that is opening the door to a conversation. That's me coming into DMs and going, hey, just seen you download the muscle building guide. How did you find it? And then conversation off the back of it. And then, so for me, that's where it's changed. I think it was a value add years ago where it would break down relationships. But I think now it's essentially just an inroad to, you're essentially just getting contact.
It is, I agree. But wouldn't you agree that that's probably actually more like the third evolution of it? Because what Jay's talking about is when you were happy just to either speak to somebody or forget mobile numbers. Nobody, but 12 months ago, 2 years ago, nobody wanted a mobile number. You just wanted an email address.
Yeah.
So you were happy just to give that thing away for free to get an email address. You probably, at that point, the lead generation strategy, you didn't even think as far of selling them anything.
Yeah.
You were just, I've just got an email address for that and they're okay with me having that. And then you kind of, things progressed. And then you would start thinking, well, actually, if I'm going to put the time into building this funnel or giving this value, then I'm actually going to want to make some money off it. So how do I actually get them from being a free person to spending money for a better version of it?
Yeah.
So then that got really complicated. And now it's got that complex and that expensive to do through paid media and everything like that. The third evolution, which is what the current evolution that we're in now, basically, is now, actually, it's really, really difficult to get people to buy off the back of it. So actually, we're going to revert back a little bit, and we're just going to be happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, just collect.
And then you nurture, and
Yeah.
that's a whole new thing again.
Yeah.
That's where the entitlement things change. I think when, I don't know, when you give it away in the past, you were kind of like, if you didn't get something off the back of it, you were kind of like, oh, and you kind of like felt like you were entitled because it was so like rare that someone was running some form of lead
For
gen.
free, because it was
Yeah.
free.
You were kind of like, you felt like a bit pissed
Bit
off if
hard
someone
done
just
by,
took
yeah.
it and went and didn't reply. You were like, fucking hell. Whereas now I think that entitlement's gone where people aren't really expecting to put a PDF out. And if you are, you're very naive. But if you put a PDF out and get 1,000 leads through, like realistically out of that, I don't know, but a lot of them are going to ghost you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones you do speak to aren't really interested. You're probably going to get a lot of shit back for emailing them or messaging them or ringing them anyway. And then the ones you do speak to, the vast majority are going to be shit conversations. And you'd be lucky to get a handful of book calls if it's just a PDF guide, like poor quality, bog standard fat loss guide, whatever it is. I think people now, coaches are, or they should be thinking, I'm putting this out here. Realistically, I'm casting a big net out and I might catch a few decent fish.
And you've got a lot of work to do after that. I guess
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
that's-
the strategy
it's
comes
the
into it then,
afterwork.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously and if you're in the fitness industry now, you'll know the word nurture gets thrown around almost as much as lead generation used to get thrown around as a buzzword. Now lead generation is just normal speak. But I guess that's where nurturing comes in, isn't it? Because like in the situation that you just mentioned there, and we'll go on to specific goals in a minute, because I want to give people like actual real life examples of if you're trying to achieve X, you need to do Y type thing. But that's where nurture comes in, because when you give something for free at some piece of value, whether it's a webinar, a lead, a PDF, a calorie calculator, whatever it is, you getting that email address doesn't mean fuck all anymore. Basically,
No.
People are giving email addresses and phone numbers willy nilly. They're not asked. They just unsubscribe afterwards.
Might never be a real email address.
Well, you never know, do you? But then the second part of it then is you've got a lot of work to do to actually turn them into a paying client. And in our experience, I would be confident in saying you should really only be expecting to, even if you're still in that person's inbox or text messages in 6 months, you're lucky. If you are in that person's inbox after 6 months, you're probably looking to convert them maybe within 12 months, as in another 6 months after that. That's realistically what you're looking to do. So you've got to really think how good that value is on the front end to be in their inbox or in their text messages for 12 months. And nurturing is obviously emails and things like that. So think how much work now, without even and that's just two parts of nurturing. Think how much work you've got to put in to basically goal one, stay in contact for 12 months, and then goal two, get them to part ways with a couple of grand. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like kind of liken it to like dating or a relationship kind of thing. That lead magnet or whatever it is on the front end is that glance across a bar where you just met someone. You don't just take them home and marry them and all that straight away, do you? You've got to like put the time in. You've got to take them out for dinner, meet the parents, all that kind of shit. That takes time.
Yeah, you've got to put the groundwork in, haven't you?
Yeah, you got to put the
You don't,
graft in.
you don't
Yeah.
get to the end goal of marriage if that's your goal, or just a life partner, whatever it is. That usually comes 12, 18, whatever, like
No,
randomly,
it's
but
a good analogy.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
it's
I
the
like
same
that.
thing. You've got to put the effort in. It takes time, and don't expect
For quality.
marriage from
So to compare it then, just to compare your analogy, just to give it the other end of the stick. So you just talked about basically how you should do lead generation. It's time, it's care, it's attention to get quality out the other end. So let's say you do meet someone by glancing across the bar and you marry them in 7 days. The amount of unsaid in between that period, the amount that you don't know, the amount that
No
is,
trust.
finger in the air type thing.
Yeah.
That obviously clearly outputs less quality, and that's essentially what you're doing with your leads, aren't you? So when you're looking at, if you're lucky enough to convert someone really quick, again, this is another subject, we can fucking go on all day about this. If you are looking to convert someone quickly, the first thing you should be doing is questioning the quality of them. Because even if you do take money off them, then you talk about lifetime value. So what's the point in spending so much on the front end to get that person, even if it's a quick period of time, if they're not going to be with you very long, or they're an absolute energy sap, and they're a terrible client. So that's basically the other end of the stick, isn't it? And they're the two ways that people are getting leads at the minute: quality, not quality. And poor quality leads converting into poor quality clients can be so detrimental to your business.
100%.
Can't it? And that's the biggest
100%.
problem.
All you need is that one poor client
Yeah.
to poor client to say like the wrong thing,
Yeah.
and that's their whole social circle will never look at you
And
straight away.
it's the energy on yourself as a coach as well.
And you've put all that time and effort into that one person.
Yeah, and you, the work, like we've done it ourselves, haven't we? And you kind of mentioned it before, the no-name client, that we have so many good clients, but we have had in the past a client that is just not a good fit for us.
Yeah.
They're not a bad person, we're not bad people, they're not a bad coach, we're not bad at what we do, but they just don't align.
Yeah. Well, it's that whole thing, like you said, about the, like, sometimes you do see someone across a bar and you go and do all the next steps within a week. For some people, that turns out great. People have met each other at 16 years old and they're still married. Great, happy days, but that's rare. So, you know, that the situation you're talking about is one of those ones where, yeah, it worked and it was good for the longevity that it had, you know, and it came to a point where the relationship just broke down in that sense and divorce was needed.
Yeah. You're okay. Sorry, Trisha. I was joking, by the way. So, fucking hell. Can't go that deep on you. I'm like, we're domestics now.
That escalated.
Yeah, it did. So just we're sort of like tying things up now, I guess. But just to sort of clarify, the stuff that we've discussed is, firstly, the difference between giving value or giving poor value that converts into quality or poor quality leads that then converts into quality or poor quality clients. That's essentially the journey we took you on. Hopefully that it's come across that way. So the way we summarize it, just to give context, the way we summarize it when it comes to lead generation, especially for paid media in particular, because I guess it's heightened because you're spending more money on it, is you've got to identify a goal. If you're trying to get leads or you're trying to grow your business as a whole and you're using lead generation as a primary vehicle for that, you need to define a goal. What is your goal? Generally, we would split it down into, and they can be both, it's not one or the other, but generally we would split it down into, are you trying to build an email list? Or are you pushing for cash, for conversions off the point? They both require completely different strategies, completely different costs, completely different tech, everything else in between that's so different. And that's point one. So if you are listening to this or watching this and you are looking to do lead generation, maybe it's not working, maybe you've not even started it yet, that's the first thing you've got to do. You've got to define a goal. Are you trying to build an email list because you want to talk to them, you want to nurture them over time, or are you pushing for quicker conversions? Which then, if you walk the path backwards of what we just talked about, you obviously, it'll give you either option. So if you want to build an email list, it'll be cheaper for you to do and it'll be quicker for you to do, and you'll get a piece of contact information, but you've got a lot more work to do. Or you spend more money, you give more value, you take longer to do it, and you convert into clients. You shouldn't be looking to do one or the other, in my personal opinion. You shouldn't be looking to do one or the other. They should be interchangeable, and they will come at different times of the year, depending on whether you're pushing for more clients, whether you've got a launch coming up, whatever it is. But to me, that's the first step where people go wrong. We've met so many coaches and well-established businesses that are maybe even 12, 18 months, 2 years into the paid media journey or lead generation journey that literally fell flat on the face at that step two years ago. And that's the reason why they're not getting results now. So if that's step one, what would you say step two is?
Step two is just creating the specific content for that so that you do have like specificity. First time is key. It's like so once you've, like you said, when they're interchangeable, it can be so easy to kind of muddy the waters and kind of just put everything in together, put your eggs in one basket and just go for it because you want a result and you don't really care what the result is, but you really need to separate what you're doing, whether it's a direct to offer, whether it's the lead generation stuff, whatever it is, and you need to change your wording, the content, what channels you're putting that out on as well. Everything needs to be bespoke for that, and that can mean that you end up maybe having 4 or 5 or 6 different strategies that you either run at once, run at different times, but because they've all got different end goals, they all make sense for those goals.
Yeah, exactly that. Because it's like, so if you look at like the goal attribution that we talked about just then, which is either trying to build an email list or you're trying to convert sales quicker, you cannot look at that and expect, if you're trying to convert sales quicker and it's costing you more money and you're looking for more quality, you cannot expect your email list to build as quickly as if you're going for emails. The same way that if you're going for emails, you cannot expect them to
Yeah,
be
book
high
calls.
quality to convert into
Book calls after fucking 48 hours, probably not going to happen.
And that's the biggest. If you're a coach now and you run paid media and you listen to this, I guarantee at some point, even it's you may be in that period now, but or you've been in the period in the past, I guarantee you have been frustrated or will be frustrated that you feel like you're doing everything you can to get these contact details, to get the leads, and they're not booking calls. And that is probably the first sign of that you need to review. It's probably because you're running a strategy that leans itself more to build an email list, not to book calls. And that's my point of being at step one. If you fail at step one, you will waste so much money.
Yeah.
Time and effort.
Time,
Yeah.
contacts. Did you build in contacts and you just let them go cold?
Energy.
Stuff like that.
We'll
Yeah,
do it.
like we work with a client. Obviously, that's that classic one. I spoke to someone who said, "No, you fucking never." Who you're generating leads and you're getting lead upon lead upon lead, and there's like no follow up sequence.
Yeah.
What did that lead say? I don't know. I spoke to them. The warmest they're going to be is when they've opted in. They're in. They're very warm. They're just getting gradually colder and colder. If you've got a follow up, they're getting gradually colder and colder. If you've got a sequence and you've got a bit of like nurture or you're following up when you're in DM, making conversation, they're probably going to trend in terms of warmth until you either convert them or you probably scare them off or they go cold again. But the amount of people who just collect leads, and it's kind of this vanity thing, similar to where like reach and impressions and engagement and stuff where like social media followers, likes, views or whatever, you get sucked into this thing of like collecting leads, I need leads, I'm going to get leads, I'm going to get leads. And you're like, what's your follow-up sequence? And I'm like, I haven't got one.
Yeah.
So what you're just doing, collecting leads, you're giving out a fucking fat loss guide and you want people to hand over 2.5K for 90 days coaching. Probably not going to happen. So I think that's where you've got to get in the thing. Like you said, what is the goal? It's generating leads to actually do something. It's to either nurture them over a long time, like longer term period, or it's, I'm going to spend more money, I'm going to attract the higher quality of lead, and then I'm going to try my best to get them in. I'm going to converse with them. I'm going to get them on a call, and I'm going to try and convert them.
Yeah.
And that's where people just have this thing of, you just want to collect leads. You want to collect leads, and you're like, what are you actually doing with the leads when you get them? You wouldn't, if you had a lead in your fucking hands, you wouldn't know what to do with it.
No. And that's basically what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's that example you just give there, where somebody's in a mindset of I want leads, and they don't have, like you used an email sequence as an example. What you're basically talking about is follow-up steps.
Something afterwards.
Of what it is.
Yeah.
That's an example of somebody that's trying to book calls or, sell directly with an email list building strategy.
Yeah.
So just to finish off then, if somebody is in a position, I would guarantee most listeners and watchers are in this situation. If you're in a situation now, a coach in a situation where they want to book calls or they're trying to sell directly and it's not happening, but they are getting leads, what would be the first thing you would change?
It's not necessarily change, it's more of assessing what is the gap in between. You got all those leads, but what is the gap to where people are booking that call, making that purchase, whatever it is, calculating like a simple conversion rate, for example, that kind of thing, just to start with, just to give you some idea on numbers, and then working out the difference. If you've got 100 leads but you've only converted one, why? Is it because they're all super, super cold? Quite likely, but that's fine. That's not a bad thing. This is where I think a lot of people just think they get disheartened by, I've got all these leads, it's great. Why isn't anyone buying? But it's okay. It's okay to have a load of leads that aren't buying. They're just not ready yet. We're all consumers ourselves. We're in this business of generating leads, but we're also consumers. We do the same thing. We will sit on people's, like you said, you got to be ready for that pepper in.
Yeah.
People are ready. You just got to remember that as the business owner. You've got to look at that and go, okay, they've opted in. They are ready and waiting for me to give them more stuff. So what can I give them? And then it's down to you to figure out what that is.
So I guess you're at that point then, to go back to the initial question, after getting the email address, for example, as the coach, you're in one of two camps. You've either got follow-up systems that's not converting in you to improve them, or you don't have follow-up systems. So that basically, and we could go on all day about saying, right, okay, what about this problem? Fix that and fix that and fix that. But ultimately, the 2 points that we've mentioned in the last couple of minutes of defining your goal, and then if you are collecting and they're not converting, understand if you've got systems where they need to be improved, or put systems in if you don't have them. If you just start with them 2 steps, you're onto a winner.
Yeah. Just walk the path of the lead, aren't you? You pretty much go in. I've got quantity of leads is okay, right? That's fine. Quality of leads is poor. Is it the lead man? It's poor quality. Have you got a paid media strategy that's going out to the wrong people? It's going out to the wrong niche or demographic, whatever it is, and you're like, lead quality is good. but I'm not getting any book calls. Right, is your follow-up sequence poor? Have you got a follow-up sequence? Are you too fucking salesy? Are you not salesy enough? You essentially go in through each boss until you get to the final boss.
Yeah.
And then if you can't get past that one, why are you even thinking about booking calls if you've got a fucking open rate of 40%, you've got a click rate of fucking 0.5% your emails, it's because something's missing, something's wrong. But people just want to get to that top bit and keep pushing the button and nothing's happening because this is dog shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I think ultimately, like, that person, you've put whatever it is out there, and that person's opened themselves up to you, and then they've been put off by something. Yeah. So whether it's the quality of lead, look at what's put them off. Was the process too hard? Like, was it too time consuming? Was it dog shit? Did it look shit? Is it full of spelling mistakes?
Did you not speak to them?
Yeah,
did you not speak to them at all? Yeah, something's put them off.
Have you spoken to them too much?
Yeah.
You're in the DMs after, and I'll go in question mark.
Yeah.
Question mark.
And I think, as you can tell, I mean, we could probably do fucking another 3 hours on this, but you can probably tell by now if you're still listening. There is so many factors in lead generation, especially when it comes to paid then as well. So take your time. Yeah. Just take your time with it, because the only thing that's going to happen is you're not going to get results and you're going to spend a shitload of money. So I think taking your time is point one.
And put yourself in the end user's shoes. Yeah. Like, if would you want to part with your hard-earned money on that? Yeah. Like what's first impressions are massive. Yeah. Like, that's what you want to do. Look at end user.
Exactly that. I think we'll finish on that.
Yeah.
So we do have the dare, don't we?
Yeah, you were furthest away from the ball again.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck. I had in my mind then that it was you that.
Well, it is.
How do you forget that in 50 minutes that you were the shittest at the dance?
I haven't been too tied up in the subject that actually not
talk to me.
What we can do.
Was there mouldy milk?
Not
See,
doing that.
Joe.
I'll have the shits.
Why? I'll have the shits. Dog treat it is then.
Dog treat.
Not eating them.
Put your hand
No,
on
not a big one, just one of the gravy bones.
Put your hand on the dartboard.
No,
Put your ass
don't
on the
that. That's
dartboard.
boring.
Can we ping the full round of Nerf bullets off you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want your
big head,
shirts
that.
up
Yeah,
though.
well, from what distance?
Like
Back on, I'm fucking running.
you were back. Yeah, you were back.
I want to shoot him. Hey, I saved some front. Give us a go. Give us a go. Shut your eyes. Shut your eyes.